Ahoy there, you scurvy dogs. I be Captain Fatbeard, the fattest pirate this side of the Devil's Roar. I've been sailing these seas since March 20th, 2018, and what a journey it has been. Let me tell you the tale of how I came to be hooked, yarr, to the Sea of Thieves. It began very much like every other tale you hear about the sea. My crew and I were immediately awestruck by the beauty of the world, the size of the seas, and the teamwork required to handle our ship well. Ah yes, the Krusty Krab, our first adventuring vessel, the ship we spent weeks learning on. I served as navigator under Captain Scourge then. My job was to set courses and watch the horizon. Both I was very good at. As a new crew, we lacked experience upon the sea. Although we had our fair share of victories, we did suffer in PvP. How did that guy get on our ship? Where'd that explosion come from? Why can't I slay these scallywags? It was this inexperience that kept us clear of skullforts during our early days. So we kept questing for gold hoarders in the Order of Souls for the first bit, until our confidence grew. On the day it did, tragedy. It was not our first skull fort, but it was our first we would do on our own. We experienced the existence of gold skills for the first time here, learned how to properly defeat the Shades. An exciting challenge, to say the least. When the captain fell and the key was retrieved, our crew celebrated, and our guard was dropped. As we looted the fort, I saw it. Like a ghost out of nothing, an enemy galleon sailed towards us. We abandoned the rest of the treasure and ran, and our crew fell apart. Captain Scourge hoped to lose the enemy by fleeing through the storm, but they stayed hot on our heels. Jim, who was our chief carpenter at the time, disconnected, leaving us without repairs in the rough seas. Sparky sought to defeat the pursuers with gunpowder barrels, only to have one detonate on us. And me? While we were damaged and undermanned, I sought to get on board the enemy ship and drop their anchor, as had been done to us in the past, only to miss the ladder and be stranded until Mermaid Carl would save me. Oh my god, we were noobs. When I returned to the ship, we were somehow in the Red Sea, sinking, and the enemy crew was cleaning up the remaining resistance. The Krusty Krab sank to the depths that day, never again to guide us to adventure. The blow to our crew's confidence was staggering. We were quite salty. But this was not the end. Not for Fatbeard. Having survived the encounter, I pressed on in the days to come, though interest in a full crew with me mates was hard found. So I pressed on alone, and I learned. I learned Gold Hoarder's maps and riddle reading quite well. I learned how to fight skeletons more effectively, and I even became adept at PvP. Soon I would even dive back into attempting skull forts, but alone. And with great success. Sailing alone had allowed me to learn how to handle most situations outnumbered. I learned to battle multiple opponents at once. My adventures were of course made possible by my blessed ship, the Immortal, the most powerful sloop in all the world. A ship that would not die and would keep me safe even to this day. Finally, the day would come where Chief Carpenter Jim planned to join me for a day of sailing. I was excited to sail with me old crewmate once more. Thing was, we never set a time. As per my routine, I popped on and began stalking the Immortal with supplies, when I noticed the skull cloud to the south. I can beat that. I can solo that, and when Jim is ready, he'll pop on, and I'll have that much more help. Plus, I believed if the loss of a skull fort tore down confidence, maybe giving Jim this one would help restore it. I was off! As I approached, I noticed the sloop had already dropped anchor there, so I convinced them to leave. So while I fought off the sloop and soloed the island, I waited for Jim, but he did not come. As the waves pushed on, I noticed the enemy sloop just waiting out at sea, waiting for me to finish. Then it hit me. It was no longer a matter of me beating them. I'd have the chance to lose the treasure if I wasn't careful. I had to think of something. Now back then I had no idea the spawn life of unattended items. So the instant I defeated the captain, I grabbed the key. I jumped onto the Immortal and I set sail. And the sloop gave chase. Across half the map the pursuit went on, until I passed an uncharted island between the shores of plenty and the wilds. So I locked the Immortal's course, grabbed the key, and abandoned ship. The enemy kept pursuing her, and I was marooned. 1 hour and 45 minutes. About 5 in-game days. I sat alone, clutching to the key to the greatest trove on the seas, unwilling to mermaid back to my ship with risk of the key despawning, watching distant sails on the horizon. I even dubbed this island Fatbeard Island. Seriously, Rare, buddy, pal? Make this canon. Make it canon, buddy. Yeah. Then I saw it. The sails, the hull, the Immortal sailing towards me with Chief Carpenter Jim on the wheel. Truly, hope and victory swelled in me. We returned to the Skull Fort and retrieved our treasure. Such glory. The following few days were filled with subsequent Skull Fort captures, evading pirate galleons and sinking hungry sloops. It was then I swore I could not allow any more adventures to go unrecorded. And a week later, the Hungering Deep began, and so did my YouTube journal of adventures. Thank you, Sea of Thieves, and thank you, Rare, for a great first year. I may not know your lore, or praise heathen gods, or steal nearly as much as this guy. Though I still stand a legend. A legend you helped me forge. From Fatbeard and his crew, happy birthday.